welcome back to my YouTube channel. Give me 1 second. Okay, let me go ahead and get more lighting. Oh, it already got 37 likes. Okay, thank you guys for joining. I took a while because I was taking some notes and some Bible verses that I want to also share in this video. I think I need more lighting, so I'm going to go ahead and get more lighting. I'll be back. Hold on. Okay, so this is going to be a positive video because we should be happy that we have been selected to be targeted individuals for all the right reasons, not for the wrong reasons. Now, let's get one thing clear. You're not targeted because you're weak. You're not targeted because you're less of a human being and that you're not good enough, stuff like that. I was getting ready for this video. I know I took a while, and I was also taking some notes because I want to present. This video is gonna be, it's gonna be a long video. And so let's continue. So you're not targeted because you're weak. You're not targeted because of what they say about you, like the lies and things that they do to you. It's quite the opposite. They're gaslighting us. They're gaslighting us to make us think that we're just not good enough, that we have to continue to prove ourselves and stuff like that, and mess with our mind. Now, I'm going to share my testimony too. I'm going to first start by sharing my testimony, and then I'll go ahead and start sharing with you guys why you guys have been targeted individuals. So I've made previous videos on the origins of when my stalking began and when I became a targeted individual. So for me, it always happened since birth. And for many of us other targeted individuals as well, we've known that we've always been rejected, treated badly, and outcasted. Hi, Adriana. Hi. I see your comments. I see everything that you guys say. I just don't want to I don't want to lose my focus on the message that I have for this video, because then I get distracted, and then when I get distracted, I won't be able to get my point across and get the message across. So so we became targeted individuals for many reasons. We think outside the box. We don't conform. We've finally have awakened. We broke out of the matrix, which means that we're unplugged from the ways of the world. It can also be because many of us are religious. We're Christians. We're believers of God, and we choose to do right even when the whole world is doing wrong. And we have ethics, integrity, morals, values, and principles. And so for this, that's why you become a targeted, because they see that you're not operating with the same mentality. You're not easily brainwashed like everyone else. We have to get one thing clear, that everyone is getting targeted. Some people are getting targeted by the TV, by social media, by the music that they listen to, by the subliminal messages and the commercials, things like that. Many of them are deeply plugged into the matrix, and so they're agents. We have agents all around us who are against us because they've been deeply programmed. And that's why they go against us, because they're entrenched. They are indoctrinated into the system. And so for us, we're not easily convinced. Many of us seek the truth. We're truth investigators, not TI. We're not weak, okay? We're very resilient. We're very strong-minded, and we've overcame a lot of obstacles and challenges that have been set in stone in front of us. So there's a Bible verse that's very true. It says, it's Jeremiah 1:1. It says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. And so what this means is that even when you were just before you were born, God already knew that you were going to be set apart, that you were going to stand out, that you were not going to be a sheep, a follower. And you're a leader. You're not a follower. You don't go just easily with whatever everyone else goes with. You stand out. And so because of that, they don't like it. You know why they don't like it? Because they want everyone else to be in a low vibrational state, like spiritually poor. And you're not spiritually poor. You're rich. You have inner richness in your soul. And they see that, and many of them are narcissistic. The people in charge of this system are psychopathic, narcissistic, sociopathic, and they're jealous and envious, and they have the spirit of Jezebel. And it's a satanic system of oppression that's constantly wanting to oppress every single person. And so, even in the educational system, several targeted individuals were oppressed ever since they were little. Many of us were born with spiritual gifts. We had spiritual eyes to see and spiritual ears to hear, and we had certain psychic abilities. And the people of the system, they don't recognize that they can that they can be that there's such thing as having a spiritual connection with God and a spiritual connection in the spiritual realm, because there's a physical realm, right? There's the physical realm in which everything is just like the desires of the flesh, temptations, food, cosmetics, just worrying about that, being shallow, superficial, being fake. So the opposite of that is being spiritually connected to a source, to a higher belief, like God, your energy, you're happy, your spirit it's shining, and you stand out. And so since even in the educational system they targeted you, even when you were a little girl. Or a little boy. I made a video about this, and I didn't really go in much detail about being a targeted individual. I mostly spoke about like just in elementary school, middle school, and high school. I wasn't getting really into the whole like targeting individual, but in this video I'm gonna go in deep about everything that I've experienced and why why you became a targeted individual. So I said that ever since I was little, I was a black sheep. I was raised by two narcissistic parents, very narcissistic parents. I had a covert narcissist, which they're insidious. The abuse is insidious, and it's very traumatizing. It's like you're in a war zone with narcissists. So they're not. This is not just like. This is not just like regular type of abuse. When you're with a narcissist, it's extreme abuse. And so I had a covert narcissistic mother, and then I had an overt narcissistic father. But he has high psychopathic tendencies. And so I stood out. I always went against their belief system, the way that they raised me and everything. I didn't agree with it. I was like a rebel. And even in school, I wasn't easily controlled. They tried to control me. I was always been really sensitive, and I would cry for everything. So they were trying to control me, and I wouldn't. I would always break out of that box, and I stayed true to myself. And say my father is a narcissist. Yes, narcissists are very vindictive, and they do gang stalking as well, because they want power and control over people that they're envious or jealous of, or because they lost control and they're trying to reassert themselves back in a position of power. They're power driven, they're money driven, and that's what happens. Okay, so where was I getting at? So I was raised by two narcissistic parents. So I was never accepted in my family by both sides. Both of the sides of my family, they always just didn't want anything to do with me. And just because I was different, and that was weird. They would always say, "You're weird." I'm like, I am weird, It's just peculiar, strange. You can say that. And so my spirit was always a lot more brighter. Like my spirit was brighter, and I was positive, and I had a positive outlook on life. And they all had like demons. I was raised by demons, I could say that. And then I went on to school as a scapegoat, being in my family system. I went on to school and I became the scapegoat of everyone around me. But they knew that I was different. They knew that I wasn't like just a regular student who just paid attention in class, and I wasn't easily convinced on everything that they were trying to teach me. Like the whole indoctrination, I went against it. And so I went on to school like that. And I was targeted, completely targeted. Like I was a loner, isolated. People would just group up and just attack me. Even the teachers would participate in targeting me. And so this is traumatizing growing up because it's not a normal type of childhood that I experienced. This type of childhood that I went through was traumatizing. It was dark, and I was in a very vulnerable position because I was being abused at home, and then I would go to school and then get re-traumatized over and over again, but by a whole school, and even the teachers would participate. And so that's what I went through. And then once the pandemic started, I finally said, you know what, I have no choice. I have to get out of this abusive relationship with the covert narcissist. I spent 20 years with a covert narcissist, and I was already to the point of just giving up, like fully giving up, like breaking down. I reached my limit, and I was just exhausted emotionally, physically, mentally, you name it, every type of exhaustion, because I went through the whole school targeting, and the whole entire school just being against me, starting smear campaigns, lying about me, always tearing me down, because every time I came in confidence, they always wanted to just tear me down. Nobody wanted me to be happy. People didn't want me to be a happy person, and they didn't want me to have a good life. It was like they constantly wanted to tear me down. I was like, why? Like, I don't get it. And I would pray a lot. I would pray to God, and I would tell God, like, what's wrong with these people? Like, what am I doing wrong? I don't understand. Like, I'm trying to do everything right. I do right by others, and yet I still get um insulted. I get people lying and rumors and all this type of chaos. And so I reached that breaking point once that pandemic started. And I was just thinking, oh, there's gonna be online classes, and I'm with a covert narcissist. I can't be here anymore. I felt suffocated, and I just felt like this is just too much. I'm done. It's too much abuse, emotional abuse. And so I had to call my other narcissistic parent, my overt narcissistic father, and I asked him, "Can you help me, please? Because I have to get out. I can't take this abuse anymore." I packed all my things and I just left. I left, and I said, "I'm never coming back here." And so once I packed all my things, I already knew that my father was a narcissist because I was reading a lot about narcissistic abuse. And so I feel like my family were my handlers growing up. Like they were part of my targeting, especially my father. I'll get to um the real story about how my targeting began, because it's gonna shock you guys. And so I left my covert narcissistic mother, and I left with my covert narcissistic father. And then what ended up happening is my stepmom, because I have an evil stepmom. She's evil. She's done so much horrible things to me growing up. I can't even explain. She would give me cold food. She would neglect me a lot, neglect me and my brother, because she didn't want us to be part of the family. And it was obvious that there was something, like, she didn't want us to exist in the picture. And so there was always a lot of neglect and stuff. I grew up around a lot of narcissists. My mother, my father, my stepmom's a narcissist, and I don't know, there was a lot of people with highly narcissistic like traits. And so I left, and I was with my dad, and what's it called? I couldn't even stay at his house. They didn't want me there. They were like, "Oh no, she's gonna have to stay with someone else," and I had to stay with my aunt for that time because my own father didn't want to accept me in his house. And so I stayed with my aunt, and no one was accepting of me. They were like laughing. They were trying to get my personal vulnerabilities to go behind my back and laugh at my suffering and try to say that I was also part of the abuse, which I wasn't. And I was broken. Like I looked like a skeleton. I didn't eat. My mom was depriving me of food as well. Like the fridge was always empty. There was never food, and it was really bad. But I pulled myself out of that dark place. And even when I would cry, no one would even comfort me. Like my lowest points, I was just alone. People, they would leave, they would go out and go to restaurants and have a good time, and I would just be alone, just crying in the room all the time. And it was really bad. And so, yeah, my whole family has always been like haters, jealous, envious of me. And even it's the spirit, it's the Holy Spirit that just irritates them. It causes them to just lash out and like they don't accept you because you're different. So I went through that experience. And yeah, my whole mom's side of the family, they reject me. I don't exist anymore in their life. And I just don't have support. They don't care anymore. It's just like that doesn't even exist anymore. And then my father's side as well. I decided to finally cut ties and leave. And once I left, I moved into my own place, and I started really healing. I started getting the opportunity to heal the narcissistic abuse and the trauma bond and all that extra stuff. And so once I was healing, I was placed with a malignant narcissist in that same dorm that I was in. It was like I was already at my lowest point, and they still put a malignant narcissist to live by me, so that not malignant narcissist can kick me when I was down and going through it. And I was just thinking, why would I be placed with a malignant narcissist? And she was just gaslighting me, abusing me, and stuff like that. So at the time, I didn't know that. I didn't know at that time. I was still like unaware of what targeting a targeted individual is. But then I told the landlord, I said, I need to move. I can't live with this malignant narcissist. She's abusing me. I need to find a new dorm. They were like, okay, we'll get you a new dorm. You just have to wait a while. And so as I was waiting a couple of months, um, at the time I was also working. I was working this job. Okay, here's the real stuff. I'm about to just expose the truth because I'm tired of holding it in. I moved. I started working that job when I was going to school. My father, he knows the people, the managers, he knows the bosses, he knows all of them. And he was trying to gain control. He was trying to hoover me back into that abusive cycle. And so I was saying to myself, I'm never going back to 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 him so he can continue to abuse me and put me down and devalue me. And you already know, like the cycle of a narcissist, they idealize you and then they devalue you and then they breadcrumb you and then they discard you. And so he was just trying to use my boss as a flying monkey. And he was trying to tell him, oh, I want my daughter back and I'm worried about her. This is all lies. I'm worried about her and I hope she's doing okay. And I think about her. I don't want anything bad to happen to her because of the area where it lives and all this nonsense, all these lies, just trying to gain control again. And I told him no. He's like, can you come into my office so we can talk? And he's like, your dad really misses you and he's worried about you and he wants me to let you know that he says he loves you and this and that. And so he was using all this information and I said, no, I'm done. I cut ties. I don't want him in my life anymore. And he just kept on trying and trying, and he got mad at the fact that I didn't want anything to do with my parent. And so all that happened, and since that point everything went south. Like south. It went like this. It went from here to boom. And I started getting targeted, like targeted heavily. Where this was the worst. There's like it's an office, and it's like this office with me and then this other girl and then this other girl, three girls like that, and then the rest are the managers, and then the human resource was also in that same office. And I talked to the human resource and I told her the situation of what was going on and telling her that I don't feel comfortable because he knows my parent and this and that, and he's been trying to get me to talk to him and I don't want anything to do with him because he's an abuser. And I thought that she was understanding because that's what she appeared to be. She appeared to be supportive, but it was all just pretending act or something. And I said, you know what? I can't do this anymore. And as I was working, oh, I began to get targeted, like workplace mobbed, to the point where I would walk in that office and it's like I didn't exist. I was isolated, ostracized, taunted. There was a lot of subliminal messages. I had one of the bosses constantly sing the song, "Sometimes I feel like somebody's watching me and I have no privacy." And he would look at me when he was singing that song. And he would just do things like that. And they would all close their door at the same time. Whenever I wanted to talk, they always ignored me, and it was just really bad. So yeah. So I don't even know how to explain it, but it was just the worst. Being workplace mobbed is like um it's something else. It's like I'm trying to remember everything that happened because it was so traumatizing. Let me think. But yeah, there was a lot of jealousy because some of the bosses that worked at that office were narcissistic, and I had awakened. I finally awakened. Um, I finally had my spiritual awakening when I walked into that office, and I just felt all the low vibrational, like everyone was just low, like demons. I just knew like that. I was like, I'm surrounded by demons, and they're narcissists, and they were just playing these manipulative games with me. At first, they were trying to exploit me. They treated me like I was less than, like I was less deserving than everyone else. Every other person was treated differently, and I was treated like I don't belong there. Like they clearly made me feel like you don't belong here. You're not one of us, and we're gonna treat you like you're not one of us, and we're just gonna abuse you, psychologically abuse you, and play mind games with you. They would use the silent treatment, where everyone would just be quiet and not even say a word, and they would have their earphones in and close their doors and stuff like that. But it was all just part of their little game because they're immature. Because they're immature, they're jealous, and they're um insecure and have low self-esteem. And they saw that I was shining bright, that I was just shining bright, and they didn't like it, so they wanted to try to dim my light, put it down. And and so all that stuff happened at that workplace. And there was a lot of false rumors. They would spread rumors about me. They would talk about me and then get together and then look my way. So they would know that they were directing everything to me. And so yeah. I went through that workplace mobbing, and it was kind of like they were pushing me out. Like they just wanted me to leave the job, and they were trying to get me to quit that job. And they were also saying like false rumors that I was mentally unstable, this and that, just making a bunch of false um, allegations about me and spreading it around to other people to try to make me look bad. And on top of that, they would overwork me. They would give me more work than every other person. And I complained about it. I complained it, blouted to the manager, and I said, "Hey, why are you just targeting me? Why am I receiving more work than any other employee? Why am I being the one given more stuff to do than everyone else? And everyone else is just has little work to do." And till that point, it's like the abuse just went like this. They got worse with me. They started treating me a lot more worse once I just complained about it. And it's like even if you complain about it, the abuse and everything will just intensify. Like it doesn't get better when you speak up. It's just gonna get worse to that point. Even the human resource was part of my targeting as well. She would buy breakfast for all the other employees, and then she wouldn't buy me anything. And I complained to her and I told her what was going on. She said, "Oh, um, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna, oh yeah, gaslighting too. That's what they did. Yeah, they gaslighted me. But the worst one was the guilt tripping. Like They were projecting all their negativity onto me, and then they wanted me to feel bad for them when I wasn't begging them once they were gaslighting me. So yeah, so most of them were narcissists. Not every single one in the office was a narcissist, but most of them were. Because um, even another person that worked there also told me, like, yeah, I think he's a narc, and I said, yeah, he is a narc. So I already knew, because I've dealt with narcissists all my life. I already know what to look for. And so yeah, so that's how my targeting began. I was workplace mobbed, and I finally couldn't take it because the abuse was just intensifying. It was getting worse and worse at that workplace, and no one stood by my side. It was like I was just isolated and made to feel that I was crazy, that there was something wrong with me. And then people would even walk around and just keep an eye on me. Like, it was like the people that were told lies about me would just like watch me and keep an eye on me to see if I wouldn't, to see if anything would happen. I was like, I'm harmless. I'm not gonna hurt anyone. Like, I don't know what kind of lies or things were said about me, but they were trying to make me appear that I was just like this monster or mentally unstable. Like there was something wrong with me, and there wasn't. And so yeah, I constantly had just people walk around, and then they would just stare like that with their eyes. And I was like, okay, that's a little weird. Until I finally couldn't take it, and I was just saying, you know what? I'm just going to have to resign to this job, because the way that they were acting was just childish, immature, and I couldn't take it anymore. They were just playing all these games, psychological games with me. And then they were jealous too, like they would copy me. I would go get a bag of chips, and then the other coworker would also go get a bag of chips. And they were grown women competing with me. I'm like I'm like less I'm less I'm like they were like twice my age, and they were competing, and I was just, are you serious right now? Like, you're a grown adult and you're competing with me when I'm just barely starting my life. But that's how it was. Their mindset was like a mindset of an immature person that. Oh yeah, I went through that, and then I finally resigned. I said, you know what, I'm just leaving this job. I can't take it anymore. And then once I left that, no, hold on. Okay, so once that targeting began, I started getting symptoms of a targeted individual, and at the time I didn't even know what that was. It was like I was new to all this. And so at work I would get like red eyes. I was like, why are my eyes so red? And yeah, my eyes were just red. I was like, maybe I just didn't sleep, but they were like bloodshot red. And then I started getting like very, very intense headaches, like pressure right here. It's like building up, like just so much pressure on my forehead. And I would just get like some massive headaches, while I was in the office each time. I also was feeling like fatigued, dizzy, nauseous, like I just wanted to um, like, I don't know, like everything was just nauseous. Those were the first symptoms that I was getting, and I was like, why? But it was repetitively. So every time I walked in that office, there was a certain time where I would just get like really bad headaches. And I was like, why am I getting such bad headaches? And I always research. I always go and research, like, what does this mean and stuff like that. But then when I would leave work, I would see a bunch of cars. I would see a bunch of cars, just a pattern. It's like a pattern of cars just circling over and over again. And like outside my window, I would just walk home after work, and then it was just like this bunch of cars just circling. And I was like, I knew, I was like, wait, I'm getting targeted. I'm like, well, what are these cars? At first, I was paranoid. I was like, what's going on? Like, I feel trapped, and I didn't know. I was like second guessing myself. I was like, is this reality? Is this what I'm going through? Is there something going on with me? And I was just like wondering, like, what's going on with me? Like, this is too much. Like, what's happening in my life? What? Like, I felt weird. I felt like I don't understand. I was like, I don't understand what's going on. Like, this is something. This is something to like. I don't even know, but it was just weird. I'm gonna say that. Once I was getting stalked, and so yeah, I would get that type of stuff, and it's like they would even show up. The bosses would show up, and they knew that they were doing all this stuff to me, like the whole headaches and the whole dizziness. Like they were aware of what they were doing. And then one of the bosses says, "Oh, I'm gonna your father told me to watch you, to keep an eye on you, to take care of you." And so that's what happened. Just because I finally said no, I don't want anything to do. I'm not going back to that abusive situation. And from there, that's when my whole targeting began, the whole workplace mobbing, and then from there, I became a targeted individual, and I was getting symptoms at work when I was barely leaving, and I was just mad. I was like thinking to myself, what's wrong with these people? I was so angry at them. I was like, what kind of people are these? They're like, what kind of person does this to another person? Put them through a targeted individual when I'm just like, I'm barely starting my life, and what kind of person does this type of stuff to an early 20-year-old? And so I was mad. I would go into the office and I was just like mad. I was like, these people are just the worst type of human beings that can be placed on this planet. But it's their spirit. It's the spirit within them that's like controlling them to do that type of stuff. And so I would leave school, and those cars just constantly stalking me. And then I had my neighbor as well stalking me too. Just listening to everything that I did, watching every single thing. And I started to realize that maintenance and the landlords were also involved in my targeting. Once I left that job, I started receiving more signs that of what a targeted individual is. So maintenance, they wanted to isolate me. They wanted to keep me like away from everyone. And I had one good friend. And one time I was just hanging out with him, and one of the maintenance guys came and approached me and said, "Oh, he like his face was angry. Like he was mad at the fact that I was with someone else." And he was just mad, and he was like, "Oh, who's this?" And I said, "Oh, it's my friend. I'm just hanging out with my friend." And he's like, "Oh, okay. That's good, I guess." And I was just thinking to myself, like, what's his problem? Like, why is he so interested in my life? Like, he should just mind his business because I'm just living my life. Like, why is he mad at the fact that I'm hanging out with a person? So that was a little concerning. I was thinking, like, why was his reaction so strong? Why was he like so bothered at the fact that I was hanging out with someone else? Because they're trying to get me isolated. Because that's their whole mission, is to isolate us and to keep us alone and keep us with unsupported people, and to not be able to have some other people support us about what we're going through. And so we're more vulnerable when we're alone. So that happened. Okay. And so yeah, that happened. Just thinking about it. Just thinking about all this. Then a bunch of unusual things started taking place as well. Um, I had a gallon of water that I would drink from, and I left it on my bed. And I came back from school one day, and I started drinking the water. And it had a very strong metal type of taste. Tasted like metal. The water tasted like it had a whole bunch of mercury in it. And I was thinking to myself, what's this water tastes so weird and like it tastes so disgusting. Like water's not supposed to taste like this. And I just kept on drinking the water unknowingly, just like thinking to myself like, what's wrong with this water? Why does it taste so weird? It tastes so like strong, and had a very strong aftertaste. Every time I would drink water, it's like it had this very strong aftertaste type of taste to it. And I was looking on the internet because I worry. I'm worried. I'm always worried. And I just kept on searching, like, what does it mean when your water tastes like metal? What does it mean when your water is like. And I think what they did is they tampered with my water. They put like some type of thing inside my water to poison me. And that's part of the targeting too. There you go. And then I had a bracelet that I would wear. I left it on a table, right? And when I came back, I was looking for that same bracelet. And I was like, where's my bracelet? Where's my bracelet? And I kept on looking for my bracelet. I was like, where's my bracelet? I was just getting so irritated, going in circles, just looking everywhere. Where's my bracelet? Where is it? And they moved my bracelet to a different place, and it just appeared out of nowhere, just somewhere random. And so they mess with you. They also move your stuff around. They go into, I think it was maintenance, okay? It was maintenance who was doing this type of stuff. Or one of the roommates. I don't know. I can't say. But it was just the fact that they were moving certain stuff, like, to different places. And I was going crazy just looking for my stuff. Because they take your stuff, or sometimes they even break your stuff, and they steal your stuff, and they, like, relocate it. Just so you can doubt yourself and, like, go crazy. Like, all these mind games that they do. And then as I was sleeping, they would project spiders onto the wall. Using that window on top above my head right now, that window right there, they would project huge spiders to like the other wall on top, and the spiders would just move like this on top. It's like they would just go like these huge spiders like that. And I woke up and I was like, I would see these huge spiders. I was like, oh, I would get scared. So they were just messing with me, like to scare tactics and stuff like that. And then a couple of days, or I don't know, like they started using electronic harassment on me and using B2K boys to school and stuff like that. And that's when I really got terrified. I was like, what's going on? Oh my god, that used to happen to me, the spiders. I thought I was the only one. I was like, am I just seeing this? Because I see huge spiders. But they were huge, like this. Like, big spiders. Like that. And then, yeah, so one time I was just sleeping. I was going to sleep. Like that. And then I just hear these voices in my ear. It's like they're chatting, like they're having a conversation in my ear. And it was like they were just talking like agents. It was like something like, yeah, no, copy that, stuff like that. I don't know what they were saying, but they were saying something. I was trying to block it out because I was frightened. I was so scared. And they just kept on repeating, like having a back and forth conversation in my ear. And it was like, it felt so like, it was like, I don't know how, it's like, it felt like they're talking inside your ear, like I don't know, it's like one like that. But I knew it wasn't the neighbors. I knew it was like on my ears. Like I just hear it like. But yeah, and I grabbed my ear. I was like, it's like this. I was like, and I go on my phone again and I start looking up. What does it mean when you hear voices in your head? And all I saw was schizophrenia. I was like, I'm not schizophrenic, and I know I'm not. I'm not paranoid. I'm not mentally unstable. I know I'm not, because ever since I moved here and I got that job, and after that job I left, that's when everything started happening. I was like, I know I'm not crazy. I know that I don't have schizophrenia. And so I would just hear those voices. and I looked it up, and I started looking up, and there was a lot of things popping up that were like B2K, Voice to School, Voice of God. It's like they use like electronic harassment. Like I don't know what they use. I think they use like this box where it sends like frequencies of sounds to your ear, and like different levels of frequency, and they were using that so I could hear stuff in my ear. So yeah. And then that same night, they like electrocuted my body or something. It was like they electrocuted my body. I kind of felt like a light bulb just being like that, and my whole body was just like this. Like this part, they did like my back or something, and I was curled up sleeping like this, and all I felt was this big of electrocution like this, like that, and I woke up and I was like, whoa, because it feels horrible when they do it. It feels horrible. Um, it feels so horrible. It's painful when they do that to your body. And I've never experienced that. It was the first time I was experiencing that. That's when the whole targeting began. I don't have family to tell. So yeah, I woke up and I was just looking for stuff like that. But no, it's what NATO O'Brien says. It's microwave high frequency weapons. That's what it is. That's what it was. And so I woke up that night. I couldn't fall back asleep. And then each night, I always felt like my skin was being burned as well. Um, they were burning like my legs when I would sleep, and I could just feel like heatness, like my legs just overheating, and it felt like my legs were like on fire. That's how I felt like someone was just burning my legs. And I would touch my legs, and it was like all I can feel is like the heatness. And then I would look at them, and then there would be like red marks, like just red marks of the burning that they were causing. And at first, I thought it was my blankets. At first, I took all the blankets off, and it wasn't the blankets, because I felt like it burning. Like I don't know how to describe it. It was just burning, like they're burning you. So yeah, that's it. And I started doing YouTube videos as well when my targeting began. So the first video that I made was about spiritual warfare. And while I was always making my videos outside, there was always like noise campaigns. People coming out to, I would do like in the grass area. They would come out to mow the grass and just make like loud noises. Then cars would just be really loud, and this loud like bunch of noise in the background. Every time I would just focus on recording my videos. There was always distractions. And even when I was just here in my own room, same thing. The guy that was cutting the grass, he would show up right in front of my window. What a coincidence. Just cutting his grass, like, and all you hear is loud noises. So there is the noise campaign, all the noise, the cars driving fast, beeping, driving really fast down the road. Even police cars, I would see them join the gang stalking too. They would be part of it, and they would just go in circles and circles. And then eventually, I also saw a drone. Like it was 2 a.m. at night, and I was getting the electronic harassment, and I saw this drone, and that window right there, that window, and I was just sleeping, and I look out the window, and it's just like this bright light, these two bright lights just like facing my way with the drone, just like that, looking over me, just watching me. So that was something else. I was like, whoa, what's going on? And it's just like this drone just invading my whole privacy, like that. And then the community started participating as well. They would come out of their balcony. Every time I would come out, they would just stare at me, but with evil eyes. Okay, when you have your spiritual awakening, you see people for like the demons that they are. Like they got some demons inside of them. They got some demons inside of them, and I felt their negative, evil energy, and I could just feel it. And so they would give me the evil eye every time I would come out, and they would just like stalk me like this, like just watch me intensely, and just try to like hurt my energy with their eyes, like just staring at me with so much hatred. And I had this lady that was trying to groom me. Every time I would walk by, she was like, "Oh, you're so beautiful," and she gave me some bad energy. Like even though she was flattering me, I still felt like she had some bad intentions towards me. Like you know when sometimes they send some agents to try to set you up, and she was just trying to tell me, "Oh, you're so beautiful. I love your shirt." And then she told me, "I love you." And I was like, "Love me? You don't even know me." And she was like, "Can you help me? Can you help me? I need your help." And I said, "No, I'm sorry. I can't help you." But she would give me that. She was the one who was giving me the evil eyes every time I would come out, and I was like, "What?" And then she sent, I don't know, but this other guy as well. He also was part of. He was also part of the community mobbing and stuff like that. One time I went to go get my mail, and he approached me out of nowhere, just like randomly just approached me and just was nice to me. He sat next to me, and then he started asking me personal questions about me. He's like, "Oh, so what's your name? And where do you work at? Where do you live? How much do you get paid? Um, what are you studying to become? Can you like just personal questions that had nothing to do because he's a stranger. I don't even know him. And he was just asking all these random questions. And so me being naive, I tell him some stuff, and he's like, "Oh, okay." And then after that conversation, he gives me this evil stare, like his mask just fell off. Like he was being so nice while he was asking all those questions, and then his mask just fell off, and I saw this evil eyes in him, and I was like, "Whoa." So I knew he noticed that I noticed the evil stare that he was giving me, and then till there he tried to play it cool. He was like, "Oh, I hope you have a good day," and I was just like, nope, I'm never talking to you again because God just showed me who you are. You're a demon in disguise. You're a demon who appears to be an angel of light when in reality you're nothing but a demon inside your spirit. So I left, and I was just So, yeah, just strange things were happening in where I lived, like the community. Just random things were just happening. It was just like weird stuff that you think like am I going crazy? Because they do it so covertly. They do it like under the radar. They're very sneaky. And even when I would do my YouTube videos, the landlord and other people would just come out and they would listen. They were like just standing outside and they would mock me. They were like, "Ha ha ha," like they would just laugh at everything that I would do, mocking me. Um, coughing really loud as well in front of my window, and I would open it. There's just people just coming around like this. But that's part of the noise campaign too. And then walking their dogs barking outside my window as well. Um, yeah, yeah, stuff like that. I don't know what else. I'm trying to remember what else because there's so much stuff that happened that I just. Oh, the maintenance one time. One time when I was walking by, they said the most subliminal message. They sent a subliminal message to me, and I actually picked it up and I recognized it. Because as I was walking and what's it called? I was around them, they told me, "Oh, how have you been?" And I was like, "Good," but I wasn't doing good. I was going under spiritual attack. I mean, we are under spiritual attack. This is spiritual warfare. This is a spiritual war out here. It's a war. And he's like, "How are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm not doing good. Like, people have been doing curses and all this type of stuff to me, and I feel tired. I feel exhausted. I started eating a bunch of junk food because I was so depressed. Even the people who live near me, they were just trying to like put me down. Like, they were trying to drain me from all my energy. And so, okay, let me get back on track. So as I was talking to him, once I said, "Okay, bye, have a nice day," he said, "Oh, okay, bye. Have have fun sleeping." And in my head, I was like, "What? Have fun sleeping?" And I was like, "How does he know that I sleep all day? Like, how does he know this type of stuff?" And I was wondering, like, I was thinking to myself, are there cameras in my dorm? Did they set up cameras to see what I'm doing? Most likely, yes. And they're the ones, the maintenance, who have the cameras to see me, what I'm doing. And I was depressed during that time. And I was actually sleeping all day. So I was like, how does he know? In my mind, I was like, how does he know that I sleep all day? Like, if I don't even talk to him, if I barely even see him around, like, I was just like, what? So that was also a weird thing that happened. And then I would go to restaurants too. I would go to restaurants. I remember I went to Farmer Boys, and there was this drive-through that goes like this around the restaurant, and there was tons, numerous, not just one car. No, there's like a whole bunch of cars. Like, I think more than 100 cars just going inside the drive-through back and forth like this. They were targeting me outside of a restaurant. Can you believe it? Through the drive-through. So I was just eating Farmer Boys, and I would just see all these cars like that, and I was paranoid during excuse me, during that time because I was still trying to like get comfortable with all this gang stalking. I was new to everything, and it was back in 2021. This is when it started, and so that Farmer Boys, I was out with my friend. I was telling him they're stalking me, like I'm being heavily gang stalked right now, and there's tons of cars just going through the drive-through nonstop. And he was just telling me, no, they're just he didn't really know. He's like, no, they're just getting their food. And I was like, no, you have to believe me. All these cars that are in the drive-through, they're all gang stalking me right now. And I felt it. Like, you feel it as a targeted individual. You feel like you're being targeted. You feel when you're being gang stalked. Like, you know already. Because it's like tons of cars just come out at once, right? Tons of cars just come out at once. Even when you're out for a walk and you're on that, what do you call it when you hit that button to cross the street, a bunch of cars just come your way, like tons of cars just come at you like this. That is true. That's part of the gang stalking. And so I was at that restaurant. I was just like, you have to believe me, like they are gang stalking me. And then I left, and I was just like overwhelmed. And then um I also went to like nice restaurants. I would go out to eat with my friend. and I would have like really good looking white ladies that looked like they had money and stuff, or just white people, but they were agents. These people were agents, I'm telling you. They would sit right in front of me. Like I'm sitting here just enjoying my food and just being calm and everything, and then they just come in and they sit right in front of me while I'm just trying to enjoy my food, and I just feel very uncomfortable because I feel watched while I'm eating my food, while I'm just ordering. I feel like someone's just looking at everything that I do. And it was. Those were the agents that sit in front of you to just watch you eat and watch what you do and just study you. So, so yeah. Mm. Let me get this thing clear. It didn't. These type of things that I'm describing, they happen every single day, not just once. No, it's like every single day when I'm out anywhere, even the grocery store. I have someone following me around each aisle. I have people just stalking me and giving me dirty looks and just trying to like ruin my day. Hmm. So yeah. Okay. And the crazy thing is too, there was several times when I would get gang stalked. They would hold their phones just recording me while they're driving. They're like holding up their phone like, and then the next car had a little kid on the side, and even the little kid was carrying the phone. I was like, a little kid carrying a phone just recording you? Something's wrong with this program, because they even have little kids who also join in with their parents. Hmm. And then even when I would go to restaurants too, because my energy's so strong, everyone would just stare and they would get like intimidated by me. Many perps work food services, teaching them young. I know they shouldn't. It's wrong. It's so wrong on many levels. A little kid doing stuff like that. Mm-mm. And so yeah, and so I was being also falsely accused in my community. Like people were saying, "Oh, she's crazy. She's crazy," and that was the label that they gave me. That I was crazy. That I was mentally unstable. That there was something wrong with me. Because there was times where I would have a very strong emotional reaction where I couldn't take it. I mean, I'm human. Like I'm human. I get mad whenever it's too much pressure. It's too much. So I would have like a very strong reaction, like, "Oh, just stop," and that's why they labeled me crazy. Hmm. But there's only so much you can take. Eventually, you have your points and you have your times where you're just like, you just get irritated. You're like, stop! Like this needs to stop. Like I'm tired of it. Like you do. Like we're humans. I'm eating mint mint chocolate cookie. I feel scared telling you guys the story because I haven't told. I mean, I feel scared telling because I don't know what could happen with all this information that I'm sharing. But it needs to be said. I mean, that's how my gang stalking really started because of a narcissistic parent that wanted to control over me. So he got other people. And the crazy part is that I know some of my yeah, I know some of the gang stalkers because they were the ones who work at that workplace. So it's like, how can I even build a case? I didn't even have enough knowledge to build a case about every single thing that took place. Oh. But it's just crazy when you think about it. Like, your whole family goes against you. Like, they call you crazy, and you're never crazy. You're never crazy. All of a sudden, you just turn out to be this crazy, mentally unstable person. But when you were in the family, when you were playing that role, yeah, nothing was wrong. But as soon as you cut ties and you want to break those generational curses, because that's what I'm also doing. I'm also the one who's breaking these generational curses. I decided to go against this toxic, abusive, dysfunctional family system that I grew up in. I didn't want anything to do with it anymore. And that's why. That's why I'm getting all this gang stalking, just because I finally decided to to not be a part of all this. So yeah, no, not even that, but one time also, um, my phone was also being hacked. Whenever I would go on certain apps, they would just like glitch. It would like take me off of that certain app. Like, I would try to open Instagram and it wouldn't open, and I would try to open YouTube and it wouldn't open. And while I was filming my YouTube video speaking about the truth about the system, the whole video would just like I don't know, it would glitch, not glitch, but it would just like close. And I was like speaking some facts, and I was like, I want to post this video because I want to talk about the truth, what's going on. And every time it would just close, and I was like, this is crazy. Like, what's going on with my phone? I would get frustrated. I was like, what's wrong with this phone? Like, it's not working. But it's because that's what they do. They tap into your phone, they hack your phone, and they mess with your phone. Even when I would try to make calls to a friend, it was like, number not available. You cannot call right now. And I was thinking, like, what? How, my phone doesn't even allow me to make certain calls. And I would try again, and then it would work. So yeah, and then so many friends went against me too. Once I started my spiritual journey with God, so many people just walked out of my life, like a lot. And so yeah, you could say that I only have like one good friend, two good friends actually, but everyone else just like, like, I'm out, and they're jealous too. They're jealous because they thought they were gonna break me down, and they didn't break me. I'm still here. I still have my head up high. So if any of you guys are watching who's part of my gang stalking, you didn't break me. And I'm gonna keep getting back up every time you wanna put me down. So yeah. But they really thought they broke me down in high school too. They did. And then when I reunited with, I didn't reunite, I just happened to pass by someone that went to high school with me. His face was so angry because I wasn't broken, I wasn't fragile. I had my confidence. I was walking with my head up high, confident, and just being. I put myself back together. So he was mad. He was looking at me like this, like so with so much anger, and I was like, what? I've never even done anything to you. Like, what's your problem? In my head, I was like, what's wrong with these people? You don't even do anything to them, and then they just don't like you because we're not part of this world. That's why. And yeah. Okay, I'm gonna share this. People that I went to high school with, the people that graduated along with me in the place where I used to live, and I moved out, not too far. Some of them drive out to where I live, and they're a part of my gang stalking. They drive around to target me, and they went to high school with me. And these same people who try to destroy me, they're coming back to try again. Now, this is real stuff I'm speaking. Real stuff I'm speaking. And there was this girl I went to high school with. I never spoke to her. I was never her friend. It's like a stranger to me. She was stalking me in her car, like just driving around everywhere I would go. I would go out for my walks because I love nature, and I love just going out and feeling the sunshine and the plants and stuff. and grounding. I love walking on the grass because it's so healing. And she would drive around, and just watch me. Like, she was stalking me so much. And every time I would come back home, her car was always parked right there. And she was in her car. And I looked at her. I was like, I just looked at her like I know what you're doing. And I took her license plate. I took note of her license plate, and I have it. Because she was stalking me all around every time I would go out for my walks. But not even saying anything to me, just in her car. So I think she was the snitch that went to go tell other people in my high school, oh, I saw her and blah blah blah, and she's looking so much better and this and that. And then guess what? I started seeing a bunch of other people that went to high school with me too. So that's where it starts. That's where it started. But no, so many people just want to see me down. And so there was always smear campaigns everywhere I would go, growing up, all the time. My mother smeared me once I left. She launched a smear campaign to all the neighbors saying how I was such a bad daughter, blah blah blah, all these lies. My father smeared me too, and that's how I'm being all gang stalked and all this type of stuff. The people in my high school were always speaking lies about me, trying to tear me down and trying to make me unhappy and miserable just like them, because they're miserable and misery loves company. So they needed to inflict their misery on me to make me feel bad all the time. And I got my energy back up. And so what am I even getting at? I'm just overwhelmed right now. So yeah, so that leads me that there was a lot of persecution that happened in my life. To this day, everyone thinks I'm like this bad person, but they know that we're not bad people. We have integrity, we have morals, we have values. We live a righteous life. We do right by others. We do what's right instead of doing what's wrong. We're not manipulated. We're not deceptive. We don't have two faces. We're not fake. And we're chosen by God. And so that leads me to 2 Timothy 3:12. It says, "Yes, and everyone who wants to live a godly life in Christ Jesus will suffer persecution." So that's what we go through, persecution. And this is not for the weak. We're not weak. We're strong. We're the strongest humans. You really are. So don't let them think that you're weak because of how they're treating you and what they're saying about you and how they're gaslighting you and stuff like that. I picked up onto it, and I was like thinking to myself, like, my neighbors who would lie about me and say like, "Oh, you're this, you're that, you're always negative." I was thinking to myself, this is all projection. They're trying to gaslight me into thinking that I'm just a bad person when I know who I am. So they'll do this to us. They'll try to test us, provoke us, lie to us. And the roommate that I have, she stays there 24/7 in her dorm, just stalking me nonstop. Like, they're paying her, because even when I started making videos about gang stalk, she would come out and she was like paranoid. She was like, because she knows. And that also leads me to also explain what happens. So I would go to the restroom, and her wall is close to my wall. She would end up going to the restroom at the same exact time that I would go to the restroom. I would just go turn on the sink, right? I'll turn on the sink like this. She would end up turning on her sink on the other side in her apartment. She was just like synchronizing with me. Every movement that I would make, she would also make the same exact movement as I was making the same exact movement. And I picked up on all that. And even when I come out of my door, she comes out at the same exact time. They all come out at the same exact time that I come out. And come around me, just where I'm at. Just to watch me and try to drain me from my energy. So yeah, that's how I know that they're literally part of my gang stalking. They're part of that, because how they act. So, and they're cowards. They're evil little cowards that they are. They're cowards. They speak a bunch of lies about us behind our back, and then they go around like little cowards and little weak spirited souls that they are, because that's what they are. They're weak. That was crazy. She was like, "You're always negative. You just want attention." I'm trying to avoid her. I don't want anything to do with my gang stalkers. I want to avoid them as much as I can. And they always come out at the same exact time that I come out. So I don't know who's the attention seeker. They definitely are. I want nothing to do with them. And then they called me all these names, and I'm like, if I'm such a bad person, then why do they even come around me? If I'm such a bad person that they say, they put a narcissist to live by me too. They always place. That's the thing. I'm gonna say it because I'm not afraid to say it, but I'm gonna say it. They always place narcissistic people with narcissistic personality disorder to live near me every single place where I live, because they're trying to drain me from my energy and they're trying to make me miserable. So I don't reach my potential, because these are blessing blockers. These are people who will distract you, people who will be jealous of you, stalk you, and just gather a bunch of personal information to then go and continue on to carry that information to other handlers and other perpetrators. So this is what they do. They put problematic, negative, low vibrational people around you to live near you in your community, and they will stalk you, they will harass you, they will try to provoke you, try to argue with you. I've gotten into like 2 arguments with my roommate because that's what she wants, just energy, just narcissistic supply. And even when I asked the landlord, I said, please move me to another place because I don't want to live with this malignant narcissist that I was moving with. And guess what they did? They moved me with another narcissist. And this is not a coincidence. This is not a mistake. This is not because they didn't know. No, they put me with another narcissist because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to target me. And and here's the crazy thing. Every time I come around the maintenance people, they're always avoiding me. They run away like little babies that they are, like little toddlers, because they know that they were part of my targeting. They all know it. And that's why I have so many people avoiding me now. Because they know what they did was wrong and I didn't deserve none of that, because I was so nice to them. My character is being kind to every person. I don't go around talking bad about people, trying to put everyone down. I live with integrity. And they were part of my targeting. That's why they're avoiding me. That's why they run away every time I come near them. Because that's what they do. It's like every time I walk and they're right there, they literally leave. It's like they can't stay there, because they know that they've been doing a lot of stuff in the dark, and I can see it. I can see through what they're all about. They can't hide from me. And none of these agents, none of these gang stalkers can hide from me. I already know. And it runs deep. Everyone's connected to it. A lot of people are connected to it. People in your job, they already know that you're a targeted individual. You go to a new job and they already know how they're gonna treat you and stuff like that. Excuse me. So yeah. So so I know what's going on. They can't play these games with me. But then now what they're doing is they're trying to act like they're all nice. Like now they're trying to attach themselves because they couldn't. None of the death curses, none of the hexes, none of the ill intentions and negative energy that they sent me worked, because we're highly protected. None of that's gonna ever work against us. We're highly protected. When you're close to God, um, no weapons formed against you shall prosper, and they won't prosper, and that's why they're defeated. Because they really thought that they could play us. No, you can't play a chosen one. God's not gonna allow it. And the crazy part is that they act like they're above you. These people try to act like they're better than you. They try to act like they know much more than you. That you're dumb, that you're just gonna fall into their manipulation. But you can see straight through their manipulation. I was raised by manipulators. I already know their tactics. It's gaslighting, projection, denial, blame shifting, insulting you. playing nice and cold games, using intermediate reinforcement. That's what they do. That's what these perps do. They're nice to you. They come to you like pretending that they want to be your friend. They try to be like, "Oh, how are you?" Even these honey pots, or I don't know what they're called, but they're like people that come around you and like they're really nice to you. Like it's like the opposite gender. And they come around you like, "Oh, I'm really interested in you. Can I have your number?" Like they just want to drain you from your energy. That's it. They just want to drain you from your energy and destroy us. They either want us to commit suicide, which is a satanic ritual to them. That's what I read about. They want to literally kill us with the whole targeting program, or they want us in a mental hospital, in a psych ward, or they want us to be in prison or jail. One of those. But that's what they're doing. So yeah. And no, we're not crazy. Don't allow these people to call you crazy and mentally unstable and that you're just paranoid. You're not. You're just not. And that's what makes me mad. I don't want any of you guys to think that you guys are crazy. These people are the crazy ones, but look at what they're doing to us. That's crazy. We're just trying to live our lives and they're just trying to live through us. That's what they do. They live through us because they're miserable. They're envious. They're jealous. They have no lives. They have no sense of purpose in their life. And so they're trying to ruin other people's lives. So we have to be very observant of the people that come around us, because many of them are agents. Even when I would go take Ubers or Lyfts and stuff like that, I already knew. I already knew that the driver was a little agent trying to set me, trying to just, I don't even know what they do, but the driver was definitely an agent. Several of them. And they make it so obvious too. And they usually tell on themselves. I had one who told me, "Oh, I'm a retired police officer." And just telling me, "Oh, if you don't mind me asking, but I want to know this about you." And I was like, "What?" Like, that's how you know that they're trying to gather information about you. But you know which ones. Okay, here's the thing. You know which ones are agents and which ones are not agents. You just know. You know by their body language. You know by the way their tone of the voice. You know by certain cues that they give off. You know that they're an agent. Because I've gone to Ubers and not every single one of them was an agent. I'm aware of that, but most of them were. Because most of them had like these black shades on. I don't know, like the appearance. Yeah. So yeah. Then one of the Uber drivers, when I left, he literally turned around. He was scared. He was just like he kept on staring at me. He was like, "So yeah, yes, you know, you do know." I'm gonna say that again. You know when they're an agent, okay? You know that. Okay, now let's continue on. So that leads me to the next one. 1 Peter 5:8. It says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about as a roaring lion seeking whom he can devour." Okay. So, what I see in the spiritual realm, I see that we're surrounded by demons. I see that we're surrounded by soulless people and people who are demonically under oppression or possessed. And they're evil. Like the things that these people do is just plain simple evilness. Evil. Like their spirit is evil. Because when I was at my lowest, it's like they were happy. It's like, how sick can you be? How sick in the head can you be when someone's struggling or crying and you're just happy about it? And that's how most people are. That's how most people are. It's like they're happy when you're miserable and they're mad when you're happy. Like they can't stand you when you're just happy. They want you to be miserable all the time. Because then they feel better. Like, oh, I'm better than them. Okay. Even on my live streams, um, I would get trolls. I would get Freemasons commenting on my live streams, telling me that I'm so unintelligent, that I'm so that they hate me, this and that. Oh yeah, they're everywhere. But just remember, let me see. These agents are told all sorts of lies about us. We are labeled as criminals or public threats. So agents work against us thinking they are doing good. Yeah, that's what I noticed. Because, excuse me. Because of the way that they looked at me, I was like, why are you afraid of me so much? I didn't even... They were like this. They were like, that's how they were staring. And I was like, what? I wouldn't even hurt an insect. I'm the type of person, I wouldn't even hurt anybody. Okay. Let me go ahead and describe more. Okay? So, they want you to feel that you're a bad person. They want you to feel like you're not blessed and that God did not choose you. It's part of their reverse psychology game that they play with us, okay? Alright. Now, you'll also know that they are an agent by the way that they smirk at you, the way that they look at you when they think they're being slick when they're really not, okay? Smear campaigns is when they use these fake allegations about us, when they make all these false rumors, try to make us look like we're these horrible, bad people, and that people should be afraid of us, that be careful with that person because blah, 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 and blah. I don't even know what they say. Okay. Now, the whole gang stalking, I've seen police cars, I've seen yellow school buses. You know those big old yellow school buses? I've seen tons of those. Tons of those just going like this in circles. They taunt us, they ridicule us, they laugh at us. They think we're crazy. They project all their negativity, they project it onto us. They'll try to isolate us, they reject us, ignore us, invalidate us, manipulate us, stalk us, watch us. They hate us for not conforming to their ways. Try to oppress us, abuse. We oftentimes we're unsupported. Like we don't get a lot of opportunities in this life. Like it's twice as hard to even continue to climb up that ladder because they're always trying to set us back, and then we're always like this. So we don't get that much support. Even in the workplaces, they're not going to support us. In fact, they're going to make it much more difficult on us to be able to survive and cope in that workplace and to be able to even get our work done because they're constantly demanding more and more on purpose because we're targeted. Okay, we're outcasted, you know? So yeah, we're unplugged from the matrix. That's, And And then they try to tarnish our character and insult us. Adriana, you should do an interview on my channel. I'd love to. I'd be up for it. That's why I stay calm till I get in my own zone. Okay. So we're constantly being harassed by our neighbors, communities, and stuff like that. They look down on us. They try to make it feel like we're inferior to them. And they try to make us look bad. They'll try to tear you down, intimidate you. That's their tactic. Don't allow them to even intimidate you. They're weak, okay? They're scared of you. It's the opposite. Especially these narcissists. Induce fear. You know, like the tactics, the manipulative tactics that they use. Okay. And mock you. Sometimes it's just jealousy, and it's their position. Excuse me. And they feel threatened when you shine. Okay, so they're just evil-spirited, jealous spirits. Okay? Alright. They'll try to contaminate your food, so always be careful and always look at your food. They'll push you, so you can either leave the job or they can get you to quit the job. So then they can continue their little narrative about you that they made that's false, okay? And then what I've received several times is they call me back and they're like, "Oh, you'd be perfect for this job position." And then I'm like, "Okay." And I call them and then they never call me back. So they play these games with us too. It's made me get hard for us to even attain employment. And on top of that, they're already informed that we're a TI. So they're going to make it known that they know that we're a TI from the day one. You're going to know. This leads me to saying that in Matthew 10:36, it says, "A man's enemies will be the members of his own household," which means that you're probably gonna not be accepted in your family. You're not gonna have support from your family because of what they do. So here's another Bible verse. "They are constant liars, signaling their deceit with a wink of the eye, a nudge of the foot, or a wiggle of fingers. Their perverted hearts plot evil, and they constantly stir up trouble, but they will be destroyed suddenly, broken in an instant beyond all hope of healing." Okay? Now let's speak some facts on why you are a targeted individual. Okay? Let's get to it. Number 1, you're a targeted individual because you have something special and different and unique about you that stands out and other people want what you have, okay? They see you as a threat, they fear you, they're intimidated by you because you are just too much in all the right reasons. And because you have a good heart, because you have good energy, and because you go against this evil demonic system, you're the opposite of what they want us to be. You see, what is evil is good in this world, and what good is considered evil. So because you're doing good and you're living a righteous life, you will be persecuted. You will be tested, and you will go through a lot of trials and tribulations because you're doing good. Okay? And that's evil in this world. That's how reversed this world is. And so that's why you're being targeted. Because you finally broke out of that matrix and they want to try to pull you back in. They're like, "Come back in." No. Okay? They can't put you back in. And so that's why they're using all these tactics to induce fear, to make you feel uncomfortable, to ruin your energy, to mess with your energy, to lower your energy down. So you can just be like everyone else in the matrix who is operating with low vibrational energy because they're easily controlled, because they're in fear and they're easily controlled. So because you're up there, that's why they see you as a threat, because you're not easily controlled, and they know that. They know that you're not an easy person to convince, and that's why they're trying different tactics on you to see if they can get you to conform to their agenda of destruction. And because you know what you know what they're all about, your truth is a threat to them because of what you know. Okay? Another reason why you may have become a targeted individual is because someone, a narcissist or a psychopath or a little insecure person who has a huge ego and has an ego problem, and you come around them and they see you as competition, they see you as a threat, they see something in you that they want to have, and they're envious and jealous of you. So now what that means is, oh, I'm gonna target this person because I feel envious and jealous, and I want to destroy them because they're so vindictive. Narcissists are so vindictive. That's another reason why you became a targeted individual, because of these evil people that exist in the world, and they see you, and to them it's like you're above them, so they're trying to bring you to their level of misery. Alright, let's get to the next point. You also became a targeted individual because of your belief system. If you are a believer of the Most High God, you will have a target on your back, on your shoulder. Because this world is ran by wickedness. And your light, that Holy Ghost inside you, that Holy Spirit that shines so bright, that can cause a positive change in this world, that you can change so many lives by just being who you are, your personality, your energy, what you bring to the table. You can raise and help people to awaken just by being this positive ray of sunshine that you are. And they don't want people to get out of the matrix. And so they're trying to keep everyone like that down. So that's why. They also want you down because they know that you have a mission to fulfill. That you are destined for greatness. I'm not just talking about greatness. I'm talking about like greatness. And not only that, but you are blessed spiritually. Spiritually. And they lack what you have. And so everyone sees what you have. And they're like, well, that's valuable. What that person has is valuable. And not a lot of people have that type of person. You know, that type of person that you are, okay? And so they notice that. They notice how much value you have. And they become jealous and envious of you. And that's why they're like, we all want what that person has. That person has something that we all want. And so let's all just group up and try to just make them feel like they're really not good enough. Even your confidence is a threat to these insecure people, okay? Because once I started to actually accept myself, be comfortable in my own skin, be more confident, that's when all of a sudden, oh no, everyone has to have low self-esteem. We all have to think less of ourselves. And once we get close to God, He tells us who we are. We're all valuable. We all have power. We all have so much power. And when we literally, this is us. We awaken and we recognize the true power that's within us. And when you have power and you're a leader and you're an influencer, you have so much wisdom, you have so much knowledge about what's really going on in the world. This will, in fact, make them want to try to discredit you, want to try to tarnish your character, your reputation, and paint you out to be the villain. So they can get other people to not believe what you have to say and what you have to share with the world your wisdom. And let me tell you something. There are people out here that see us and they look up to us. They admire us. And other people wish to be in our position. They see how much attention we receive. Because people are starting to notice who we really are and who they really are. You see, they can't hide in the dark for so long. They can't do their little wickedness and conjuring their evil plots in the dark for so long. Eventually, the truth is going to reveal itself, and you are going to be who you are. You're going to continue to be yourself, and they're going to notice that. They're going to see, no, that person's not a bad person. That person's, no, I don't, like, I see who they are, and I see what they're doing. I don't think, like, you know, they're going to eventually reveal. The truth will reveal itself. And those people who are against you, who don't want to believe you, they're jealous and envious of you, okay? That's why they just want to be against you. Because you haven't even done anything to these people. You don't go around trying to destroy people. But just because of that, just because you're peaceful, because you're loving and kind and this and that, that's a threat to them. They see it as a weakness too. They see it as a weakness. They're like, oh, that person's weak because they're so loving and blah, 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 and this and that. No, everything's opposite. It's like evil is looked as a strength, and being heartless is looked as, wow, you're so powerful because you're heartless. Being loving takes power, and that's the most highest vibrational state you can be in, when you're operating with love and with true intentions, pure intentions. That scares them. Because when you operate with pure intentions, you can see others that are not. You can see through the fakeness. You can see through the deception that others try to display in front of us. So, yeah. Okay, another one is because you're outspoken. Even when you're outspoken, people may not like that about you. That you're not afraid to go against what everyone says. You're not afraid to talk what's on your mind, what's in your heart. You just speak up. You're outspoken. You're opinionated. You know, you say when you don't agree with something. You stand for justice, and you try to always do what's right. And so that's another reason you can also be a targeted individual. Is when you see something that's wrong and then you finally decide to speak up. And someone may find that to be like a competition. I don't know. You know, I don't even know what goes on in people's minds, but some people, there's evil people out there. There's bad people. So yeah. Another reason I can think of is that you're not easily to conform. You don't conform to the ways. You end up being yourself, and you let others conform to who you are. Like you just don't agree with everything. You might not live the same lifestyle that they live. Stuff like that, you know? I don't know. Stuff like that, I think. So yeah. But the main purpose as to why you become a target individual is because you're God's child. And the devil is not happy. Okay. Now what's happening during this time too, I've noticed, is that all those people who try to do all that bad stuff now, they're all getting judgment. Okay? Judgment is literally already happening right now. Matthew 10:36 also says, oh, I think I read this one already. Okay. Matthew 24:12. It says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Mind you, they tried and tried and tried and tried and tried, and no matter what, you continuously keep going. Because you know that you're on assignment. You're walking the narrow path towards salvation. Remember, the wider path, the one that most people go into, it's a path leading to destruction. And so everyone's gonna be destroyed, like going through destruction. And you're walking the narrow path. They know that you're saved. They're aware of this. And that's why so many of them are jealous of that. They're jealous because they're the ones who like, oh, I want to take her position. I wish I was the chosen one. And that's why they become like so bitter, and they become bitter, and they see you going the righteous path, and they want to try to lead you astray, into darkness and deception. And so you're continuously walking this path, and all these people are just lying, gaslighting you, harassing you, and this and that, and trying to distract you from your life purpose. But you have to have tunnel vision. Keep your eye on where you're going, okay? All these people are already miserable. They're already living in destruction. And let me tell you something. I know we say, oh, you need to help them. Negative people will either do one thing. They will either want to work on themselves and heal themselves, but the majority of them, they're living in so much deception and denial, and they don't want to take accountability. They're just gonna want to put you down, pull you down, because they think they're lazy. They're like, no, I don't want to do all this work, so I just want to pull that person down. So be careful, okay? So you're gonna have to walk a lonely path over here, a lonely path. You're not gonna have, most people are just gonna be against you because they decided to work for Satan. You have made the decision of living a righteous life. Not many people are going to take this path, because what happens is when you take this path, your friends, your family, people are just going to go against you. And you're going to go through a lot of judgment and a lot of neglect and isolation, and people just laughing at you and mimicking you and thinking that you're a joke and that you're crazy. So this type of path, you're going to keep going through it, okay? And that's why you're a targeted individual, because not many will lead this lifestyle. Okay. All right. And that's why you shall endure until the end. You will endure a lot of stuff. But all this stuff is not meant to break you. It's meant to build you. It's meant to build you. And it is building you. Because look at how strong you are. Look at yourself and look at how far you've came along during this journey. So many people in your place would literally fold. They would be like, I can't anymore. But God knew what kind of spirit He put in you. Another thing is that you're fearless. You don't fear humankind. The only person you have fear is God. Okay. Excuse me. I want to share another thing about my targeting individual. You're not gonna have support. Oh, this happened to me too. The what do you call it? The the doctor. Yeah, the doctor. I went to the doctor and I told him what I was going through, that I was having symptoms and stuff like that. It was just because you're a target individual. They can't find anything that's wrong with you because those are the symptoms that we go through. But I have like this wrist thing right here where it's like really painful, like super duper painful. And I went and I asked like, oh, can I get something for my wrist? They literally just like were nonchalant. They didn't even care. They didn't even help me. Cause just because I'm a targeted individual, they're going to close the door on you like they'll close the door on you like this. Like, nope. And I'm like, really? Like I have health problems. Like I need help with this wrist. And how are you not gonna help me with my wrist? That hurts. So yeah. Not only that, you guys, but we get so much haters. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, next Bible verse. John 15:18. It says, if the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. So, if the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. So, what that means is that you have a choice. God is a stingy God. You can't play two gods. You can't be involved in the worldly ways and then still, what do you call it? Be a believer in God. You see, so many people are idealizing, um, worshiping their government, worshiping Satan. So the ways of the world will literally go against you. You cannot serve two masters. A jealous God. I said stingy. So if you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. And it is. You do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. Remember what I told you. Our servant is not greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will persecute persecute you also. So, what I think is that you should be very blessed. You're blessed and chosen. And because of that, you're a targeted individual. So guys, just I gave out my testimony and then I gave out also reasons why what do you call it? Why you're chosen. And it's all positive reasons. So don't let them think that it's a negative reason why. They're lying to you. They've been lying to us all along. I mean, this whole reality is an illusion, as a matter of fact. So Don't believe it. Don't believe it. And don't fall for it. As well. Don't fall for the lies that they tell you. No, know thyself. You must know yourself. And if you know who you are, then that doesn't matter. Trust me, I've been there. I've been there many times. People have lied on me and said that I was bad and selfish and all these lies and all these things about me that weren't true. But I found God and He renewed my mind and spirit with His light. We are shining like this light. This is how bright we shine. Like this. And so that's why we get rejected and we get targeted because of our spirit. It's bright. Okay? This makes me so happy. And what do they fear? What do they fear? They fear that you pick up your Bible and you start reading it and reading the truth. And when you do that, the devil can't lie to you. Because what's happening is the devil is trying to distort your calling. He's trying to distort that, oh, maybe God isn't really with me because all these bad things are happening to me. Maybe maybe he's against me because this bad thing happened to me. No. You didn't lose your job. You didn't go through this horrible experience because of God. That's Satan sending his little minions to mess around with you and try to put you down and all that. Okay? Always remember that. That God will send His people as well. And that Satan will send his little workers as well. Okay? And let's see. Yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. So even though they try to throw all this darkness, that's what they're doing. All this dark energy, all this, what do you call it? All this negativity energy, low vibrational stuff. Even when you're put in situations like this, God has a way. And there's a reason. For what you're going through. So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen. And let me get something. The other reason why you are a targeted individual It's because they fear you. They fear your potential. They fear your spirit. They fear what you are capable of becoming. And that's why they try to throw distractions your way. Like this. And they know who you are. Trust me. Don't let these people who don't even know you, who don't even know God, try to make you doubt yourself. Try to make you think less of yourself. And try to, lie about you, okay? Because God knows the real you. God only knows the real you. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows what you've been through. There's a type of love that God only knows. God only knows the real you. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows what you've been through. There's a kind of love that God only knows. Okay. So this video, I'm gonna post it. I think I'm gonna get the courage enough to post it, okay? If something happens to me, just know that I spoke my truth. Okay? I spoke my truth. And that's all I can hope for. But I spoke the truth about how my targeting started. It's okay. My father literally used someone else, Flying Monkey, to get to me, and that didn't work. And then eventually, I started getting work mobbed, and then I was work mobbed, and then after that, the targeting began in the workplace, and then after that, the whole gang stalking just began. And from there, I've been a targeted individual, and I'm still going through it every single day of my life. Noise campaigns, street theaters, I've had stuff like that. I've had all that type of stuff. So. And lastly, but not least, Romans 12:19 says, God tells us to never take revenge and to leave it to the Lord. God is the ultimate judge, and when we seek revenge, we are taking his place. When we become overwhelmed with what others have done wrong, we become filled with anger and find ourselves focused on hate. God's love and forgiveness is seen in our ability to love and forgive. Do not repay evil with evil or insult with insult. On the contrary, repay evil with blessing, because to this you are called, so that you may inherit a blessing. Alright, so don't worry. Everything's gonna fall into place. It already is, okay? You are safe, you are highly protected, you are loved, you are not alone in this. We stand together. We will get through this. You're not alone in this. This is my second year as a target individual. So, yeah. But I'm just hoping it doesn't progress. Because I know that there's certain levels, but right now I would say my level hasn't progressed as much. But new levels, new devils. So, Yes, it does get annoying. The noise campaigns do get annoying, and their immature, childish behavior gets so annoying as well. So yeah. But they want your attention and they want your energy. And they want that spirit of God. Let me start by saying I hope this video was an inspiration to you guys. I really do. And if anyone's watching it that I know, this is the truth. So don't gaslight me. Okay? So thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. And I hope I did a good job explaining you guys why you became a chosen one. So thank you guys for watching this video. I'm gonna have to go ahead and end this live chat. But continue to be yourselves. Continue to stay true to who you are, and continue to share that beautiful light with the world. Okay? Now I'm gonna go ahead and end this live. But thank you guys so much for watching this live stream. Have a blessed one and be blessed each day of your life. Okay. Alright, bye everyone.